Hello, welcome back to Top 5 Mondays. I was really struggling to come up with something for this week that I wanted to do. I picked another one from the user suggestions, the subscriber suggestions, and the person who suggested this one is, there we go, I think it's the same one who suggested another one which I've forgotten, but it's definitely a repeat suggestion, or suggester, I should say. So thanks for that again. This is Top 5 Harry Potter Movies. Now, there's only 8 Harry Potter movies, but I do think it's an interesting question. And I love ranking movies anyway, and I'm a big fan of the Harry Potter films, so this is just a real easy one to get out there. And I'm going to try and have a think beforehand, because it really just dawned on me today that, shit, it's Monday, I've got to do a Top 5 Monday video, and I've completely forgotten about it. So I'll put some more thought into the next episode of this. The thing is, a lot of the suggestions, while great, are tough for me because I remember one was suggested was Top 5 De Niro, which is great, but I haven't seen all of his films, you know, and I feel like, I don't know, I'd be doing it a disservice if I hadn't seen everything. It's tough, and I'm really kind of strict on myself when it comes to things like that. But anyway, Harry Potter, I know, so without any further ado, let's get right on to the Top 5 Harry Potter movies. 5. For me, number 5 is The Chamber of Secrets. I paused then because I actually forgot what my list was. It's all in my head, but I got it now. Chamber of Secrets, yes. I love The Chamber of Secrets. It's pretty much, I think it's the most faithful adaptation because I think it's actually the longest Harry Potter film as well. So it has the most time to adapt as much as possible from the books, and it is very close to the books. And this was directed by Chris Columbus, who was such a huge fan of the books, and you know, he really wanted to get as much, you know, as possible in line with what was written on the page, and it really comes across in Chamber of Secrets. You know, you can't really, as a fan of the books, you can't really fault the Chamber of Secrets. And I love the story as well. I love how dark it gets. I mean, people say that the later books and films get darker, but it gets pretty dark in the second one. In Chamber of Secrets, that bit when near the end, when Harry and Ron find out that Ginny's been taken down into the chamber, and then the blood across the wall saying, you know, her skeleton will rot in the chamber forever, and it's a chilling line that just creeped me out when I was a kid. I mean, that's dark to me. We have this kind of, well, I'm not going to go too in depth into the films because I've actually reviewed all the Harry Potter films in depth, or most of them so far, as part of my Harry Potter Odyssey series, which is an in-depth review of not only the movies but the Blu-rays as they're presented in the big Wizards collection. I've got 2 more of those episodes to do, but yes, if you want to see my Chamber of Secrets thoughts in depth, you can go check out that video. But I love Chamber of Secrets, and again, it's just so faithful to the book, so that's why it's number 5 on the list. 4. For me, number 4 is the HalfBlood Prince, Harry Potter and the HalfBlood Prince. This one I kind of didn't get around to watching when it came out in the cinema. I saw it afterwards and was really impressed. I like it a lot. I love the tone of it. It's got a real playful tone while dealing very nicely with all the darkness that comes with it. Again, I just said that it gets dark early on with the Chamber of Secrets, but it doesn't really get dark. I mean, Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix, they got dark things in them, but HalfBlood Prince, it just gets even more deep, you know. I mean, it is a progression, it is the natural progression of darkness and serious subject matter, and again, shows, but I think the director did a fantastic job. David, no, was it David? Oh, I've completely forgotten his name. I was thinking of the producer then. Oh, I forgot. David Yates, I think. Yes, maybe. Anyway, he did a fantastic job, I think, directing the HalfBlood Prince. And again, there was a lot of fun elements to this with all the teen romance that was going on. It was dealt with well. There were some funny moments, and it also really dealt with the darkness. Well, I wish there'd been more of the memories, not Voldemort's memories, but other people's memories of Voldemort as he was growing up, because there was a lot more of that in the book that was really interesting to me. And we only got a few of them in the film, but nonetheless, they were done very well. And again, the ending, you know, very dark, but I always kind of get annoyed by the ending, and I've talked about that in my review, so I'll leave that for you. Well, I'll quickly go into it. At the end, basically, when, spoilers, Dumbledore gets killed, he tells Harry to wait, you know, down this little area. He's like, wait down there and don't move, you know, and he literally watches Dumbledore get killed by Snape. And that doesn't happen in the books. In the books, Dumbledore puts a spell on Harry that binds him against the wall while he's got his invisibility cloak on him. So that means that no one can see him and he can't do anything. It's in Harry's character to want to help even if he's been told not to. And again, Dumbledore did say, you know, you must follow my instructions implicitly, but I believe in the book he wanted to help, but he was trying, you know, but he was stuck by this spell. it just seemed out of character to me to see Harry just literally watch it from downstairs, where he could have gone up and helped, but he, you know, so that was an odd decision. I don't know why they changed that. There was no reason to change it. Anyway, HalfBlood Prince, I still love it a lot, and what's his name? Oh, great British actor who played Slughorn. I've forgotten his name. Oh my god, he's brilliant as well. Jim Broadbent. He was fantastic as Professor Slughorn. But anyway, that's my number 4 on the list. 3. One that people would probably not put this high in ranking their own list is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Not a lot of people love this, and I could see why. You know, the kids, they're young, they're not great at acting yet, but I still think they're pretty good. I really think that they just cast this to perfection. I think, especially if you look at how good they got in later on in the movies, and they've now gone to great careers. At least Emma Watson and Dan Radcliffe. And Rupert Grint's still doing movies, but you know, they picked 3 kids who really turned out to be great actors in my opinion, and I still think there was some flashes of really good acting in there. Obviously none of it's perfect, but I really enjoyed the cast in the film, and for me, just the nostalgic reason that it was the first one, and I love how light it is for the most part, and just how fun it is to watch, and it's just a really nice film, and I love watching it. It reminds me of going to see it in the cinema when I was actually was I 11? I was 11. No, of course I wasn't 11. No, I was 13 when the film came out. And, you know, I was so excited, and I was literally sitting in the cinema thinking, I can't believe I'm sitting there watching this. And I've told this story many a time, but if you haven't heard it, I'll tell it again. It's the scene where Dudley's running up and down the stairs at the beginning of the movie, annoying Harry in the cupboard under the stairs. And I was just sitting in the cinema thinking, I can't believe I'm sitting, this can't be real. I was just so excited and couldn't believe I was sitting here watching the Harry Potter film. So I'll never forget that moment, never forget that feeling, and for me that's why it's quite high on my favourites of the Harry Potter movies. Yeah. 2. Number 2 for me is the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Not the Deathly Hallows Part 2, which, you know, I guess that kind of gives away that the Deathly Hallows Part 2 isn't my number 1, and I've got no problem doing that. And I'll say why. I think they really ruined the ending of Deathly Hallows Part 2. It's a great film. They did a fine job with it, and I enjoyed everything about it, but I just thought they really screwed with the ending to not really, but they just changed it in a way that was just, it was unneeded. It really was unneeded, and I thought they had such a great scene there that they just cut out or changed rather, and just I didn't like it. Deathly Hallows Part 1 is a brilliant film. I love the road movie aspect of it, and I love that in the book as well. It's so different from all the other stories, and I just love everything about it. It was done so well. The acting is just top notch from, you know, Dan Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson, as the 3 are travelling together, trying to kind of find all these Horcruxes. I love the Horcrux story as well. Really great. That's another thing I love about Half-Blood Prince, is the introduction of the Horcruxes. I love the whole idea behind it, and the way it's presented and told and everything about it. And I just love the road movie aspect of it, and the ending is just so badass. The fact that I just love bad endings. I love bad endings. What can I say? Just the fact that Voldemort finds the Elder Wand and he's just like, fuck yeah, shoots it up into the sky, and it's just like credits. You know, you have to wait 6 months, or however long it was. Such a great way to end the movie. I loved it. When you can do that and get away with it in a franchise movie, you should totally do it. See Empire Strikes Back, and more recently Catching Fire, for this 2 great movie endings that really end on a bad note for your protagonists, so I love that. And of course Dobby's death was just dealt with so brilliantly. Can't fault it. Great movie. 1. My favourite Harry Potter movie. Well, there's only 3 things to choose from. There's The Goblet of Fire, which I like but didn't like that much. There's The Prisoner of Azkaban, which I didn't like at all. And then there's The Order of the Phoenix, which I quite like The Order of the Phoenix. I love the book. They couldn't really adapt it as well on film, because the book is the longest of all of them, of course. And, you know, a lot of things, you know, are good about the film, including the introduction of Ivana Lynch as Luna Lovegood. I thought she was great in the movie. But, you know, Order of the Phoenix isn't that great for me. It's not up there with the best of them. Which means, yes, I have been lying about one of these, and that's Prisoner of Azkaban, which is my number 1 favourite Harry Potter film. Without a shadow of a doubt, it is a fantastic story. The book is amazing. I mean, it was great to begin with, but when you get to that like last 100 pages with the time travel and everything, the way it's all woven together, and it's just, oh, brilliant. Absolutely love it. I love time travel anyway, and I think it's really the only time they implemented it in Harry Potter, and I think that's brilliant, you know, that J.K. Rowling just left it to that, because that was the best kind of way to do it, I think, and it was really, really cool. The time turner sequence and everything, and they did a great job of that shot where they turned the time back. I thought that was great. We have Alfonso Cuarón directing this movie, Spanish director, really left field, out of nowhere that they hired him for this. J.K. Rowling was a fan of his work, and he was brought on board, and he brought something totally different to the Harry Potter universe. He made it his own, he made it different from the first two, while still retaining the Harry Potter magic, I guess you could say. No pun, well, pun intended. It felt like a Harry Potter film, but it also felt like something more, and I really, really liked what they did with it. Gary Oldman is fantastic as Sirius. You couldn't have picked a better guy to play Sirius Black, in my opinion. Loved David Thewlis as Lupin. I'll always remember Lupin a lot better than he was in the films. His character, I love Lupin's character in the books, and he doesn't quite do him justice for me, but I still thought he was brilliant. And again, the kids' acting is getting a lot better in this one as well. Pushing it a little bit, you know, where Harry's like, he was their friend, like he's maybe trying a bit too hard, but I understand that they're really trying to tap into that raw emotion that Harry was feeling at that scene anyway, which is understandable, and as it is in the book. But I feel like Daniel Radcliffe wasn't quite ready for that kind of performance yet, but he definitely would be when it comes to the last films. And I should say that his performance in Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 is absolutely awesome. I really thought he was great, particularly in the last film. As much as I didn't like what they did with the ending, I thought Radcliffe was fantastic. They really just picked him perfectly, in my opinion, absolutely perfect, and he's gone on to be a really great actor, in my opinion. Really enjoyed some of his other works outside the Harry Potter world. And yeah, so the Prisoner of Azkaban, the introduction of Patronuses, I didn't quite get the sense of wonder as I did in the book when I first read it, when Harry thought that he saw his father save him on the other end of the lake, and I thought it was him for a moment. That was such an exciting moment, and you didn't quite get that in the film, but they did that whole sequence great, and I think I've used the word like brilliant and fantastic and phenomenal like far too many times in this film, in this video. Can you tell I'm a fan of Harry Potter? Yeah, so the Prisoner of Azkaban for me is definitely the best film. In my opinion, it's the best film, and it's my favourite film, of course, as well. So, yeah, that's about it. Let me know what your top 5 Harry Potter films are, if you like them. I know not a lot of people do like the Harry Potter films, it seems, but it also seems like quite a lot of people do who I wouldn't have necessarily thought would like Harry Potter as well, so it's interesting. And I think there are a lot of closet Harry Potter fans out there, which is interesting, but I'm fully open about it. I will say it to anyone that I'm the biggest fan of the Harry Potter books and films. Of course, the books are always better, but I really do like the films as well, as much as they annoy me sometimes. So that's my top 5. Again, let me know what yours are. Always, again, feel free to leave suggestions for future top 5 videos in the comments down below or on my Facebook page. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
He says he's really cool, but I think he's a tool. Even though I'm sure he's a quite nice guy, really. He's a quite nice guy, really.